The East African savanna is one of the most biologically rich landscapes on the planet. At any given moment, millions of large herbivores roam these open plains, feeding on grass, leaves, and shrubs. When food is plentiful, life appears calm. But this calm is deceptive. Predators constantly patrol the grasslands. Survival is never guaranteed. Predators patrol the grasslands, silently assessing every movement. Carnivores may dominate the top of the food chain, but their power is fragile. Without prey, they cannot exist. Hunter and hunted are bound together in a relationship shaped by millions of years of evolution. So which side is better adapted to survive? As dawn breaks, sunlight fuels photosynthesis, plants begin to grow, and herbivores take advantage of the cool morning hours to feed. This is also when many births occur, moments of life balanced on the edge of danger. A topi gives birth after 8 months of gestation. She delivers a single calf, fully alert but extremely vulnerable. Within minutes, the newborn must stand. Within 15 minutes, it must run. There is no time to feed, no time to rest. On the savanna, speed is life. Herbivores consume large volumes of low-energy food, which means they must survive long enough to graze, and that requires early independence. For carnivores, the story is very different. Lion cubs are born blind and helpless, weighing just over a kilogram. A lioness hides them away from the pride, protecting them from predators, even from adult males. She may raise 2 or 3 cubs, nursing them for weeks. Meat provides dense energy, so carnivores eat less often. But every hunt carries serious risk. Hyenas face an even harsher start. Their cubs are born with teeth and must compete aggressively from the first days of life just to suckle. Only the strongest survive. In hyena society, social rank begins at birth. As young carnivores grow, play becomes training. Wrestling, chasing, mock hunts, all are essential lessons. Cheetah cubs, born in litters of up to 6, develop speed and coordination through constant movement. yet fewer than half will survive to adulthood. One injury can mean the end of a hunting career. Herbivores rely on different defenses. Their eyes are positioned on the sides of the head, giving them a wide field of vision. Their ears rotate independently, detecting danger long before it arrives. Living in herds increases the chance that at least one individual will spot a predator in time. But even these adaptations have limits. During the dry season, grass loses its nutritional value. Hunger spreads across the plains. And then, the herds begin to move. More than 1 million wildebeest and zebras embark on the Great Migration, traveling hundreds of kilometers in search of rain. Rivers block their path. Crocodiles lie in wait. Many animals drown. Many are killed. Nearly 10% will die, yet the migration continues. On this scale, survival depends on numbers, not luck. Predators must calculate every hunt. Chasing prey consumes enormous energy, and failure can be costly. This is why lions rest for up to 18 hours a day. Every hunt must be worth the risk. In the end, life on the savannah is unforgiving to all. Herbivores live under constant threat. Carnivores live under constant pressure to hunt, to feed their young, and increasingly, to survive in shrinking territories shaped by human expansion. Survival is not about strength alone. Young antelopes follow their mothers within hours of birth. It is about adaptation, timing, and balance. The future of the savannah depends on this ancient struggle, a delicate equilibrium between those who chase and those who run. Feeds alone. Without competition from siblings, carnivores often face the opposite situation. In spotted hyena clans, litters are large, and births occur throughout the year. Cubs of different ages grow up together, and, from the very beginning, they must compete. Hyena cubs are born with teeth and must fight aggressively to gain access to their mother's milk. Those who succeed grow stronger. Those who fail grow weak and may die. Social rank matters even in infancy. Cubs learn to defend their position according to their mother's status within the clan. There is little rest and no tolerance for weakness. Once they join the pride, lion cubs experience a very different upbringing. Cubs are raised collectively. Different generations live together in relative peace. Even before they are weaned, cubs are drawn to the kills made by adults. The instinct to hunt is innate, though they still rely on milk. They are already learning about their future role as predators. As the young carnivores grow, curiosity slowly replaces fear. Lion cubs, still dependent on their mother's milk, begin to follow the adults. They are drawn to movement, to sound, to the scent of prey. The instinct to hunt is already there, written deep into their biology. A lone wildebeest stands in the river, separated from the herd. It looks vulnerable. A lioness has already eaten, but she remains a threat. The wildebeest refuses to turn its back. Running now would be fatal. This tense standoff becomes a lesson. The cubs move in. Awkward and uncertain, they rush forward, testing their strength, their coordination. The wildebeest fights back, using its horns to defend itself. It is far too strong for them. The adult lionesses do not intervene right away. They watch. For the cubs, this is training. They learn distance, timing, danger. But when the situation becomes too risky, an adult steps in and ends the exercise. Experience decides when the lesson is over. This relationship between predator and prey has been shaped over millions of years. Predators eliminate the weakest individuals. Prey species become faster, stronger, more alert. In response, only the most skilled hunters survive long enough to reproduce. This constant pressure drives adaptation through natural selection. Once young herbivores are weaned, they are free to graze independently. Food is everywhere if they can reach it.
The wild beast stares directly at the cubs. The element of surprise is lost.
young carnivores, dependence lasts much longer. Black-backed jackal pups, for example, wait near their burrow, often an abandoned termite mound. They are too small to follow their parents on a hunt. Insects or fruit might ease hunger, but it is never enough. They wait. If something happens to their parents, the entire litter will perish. A jackal mother sets her sights on a Thompson's gazelle, normally a difficult prey. But this gazelle is injured. The jackal chases it relentlessly, pushing it until it can no longer defend itself. The herd watches from a distance. Living in a group provides safety, but not for the individual who falls behind. The carcass is too heavy to carry. Taking the pups to the kill would be dangerous. Instead, the mother swallows the meat by storing it in her stomach. She prevents other predators from stealing it. Later, she will regurgitate the food for her pups. The father returns as well, carrying more food. Jackals mate for life. Raising a family is a shared responsibility. Not all predators live this way. Leopards are solitary. A female raises a single cub for up to 15 months. When she hunts or patrols her territory, she hides the cub deep in vegetation. Leopards rely on stealth, not speed. They ambush their prey at close range. This rabbit will be enough for the cub. Carnivores can only eat what they kill, and nothing must be wasted. Meat is dense in protein and calories, so carnivores require far less food by weight than grazing animals. When the cub has eaten its fill, the mother consumes the rest. Because they feed less often, carnivores have more time to rest or to play. Young leopards wrestle and pounce. These movements are not random. They build muscle, coordination, and precision. Every jump is practice for the future. Lions rest even more, up to 18 hours a day. Cubs grow up surrounded by siblings, play fighting constantly. These mock battles prepare them for real conflicts, both during hunts and within the pride. One day, one of these cubs may become a dominant leader. Another big cat faces even greater challenges. The cheetah is solitary and non-territorial. Females give birth to litters of 3 to 6 cubs and raise them alone. Protecting them requires constant movement and vigilance. Young cheetahs are often attacked by other predators, especially hyenas. Fewer than half survive to adulthood. Cheetah cubs are either asleep or in motion. They chase, tumble, and wrestle endlessly. Play builds speed and teaches body control. Their instincts push them to test their abilities even against animals far larger than themselves. An eland, weighing nearly 100 times more, does not intimidate them. Affection also plays a role. Cheetah cubs seek physical contact. Cuddling strengthens social bonds and reduces stress, an important factor in survival. Herbivore young also need to burn energy. Young antelope spar with one another, practicing movements that will later determine dominance. These playful clashes grow more intense with age. One day, they will fight for territory, mating rights, and control of harems. Play is not unique to the Savannah. High in the Virunga Mountains, at elevations above 2,000 meters, dense rainforest covers the slopes. Here lives one of Africa's most powerful herbivores, the mountain gorilla. High above the savannah, at elevations of nearly 2,000 meters, the Virunga Mountains rise into the clouds. The open plains give way to dense rainforest, one of the last refuges of the mountain gorilla. A dominant male watches over his family. The group is made up of several adult females. They're young, and one or two younger males. His role is clear: protection. Strength and presence alone are often enough to deter threats. Adult gorillas are calm and deliberate, but the young are anything but. Young gorillas are full of energy. They play constantly chasing one another, climbing tree trunks, swinging through branches. For these peaceful herbivores, play is essential. It teaches balance, coordination, and how to move efficiently through dense vegetation in search of food. Sometimes the noise becomes too much for an older gorilla, but even that has its limits. A silverback's broad back often becomes a climbing platform, or even a trampoline. For the youngsters, gorillas are not territorial. They move frequently, traveling through steep terrain and thick forest to take advantage of a wide variety of food sources. This mobility allows them to avoid exhausting any single area. They spend nearly a third of their day eating. An adult gorilla can consume up to 30 kilograms of plants and fruit every day. Leaves, stems, bark, all are part of the diet. Occasionally, they chew on rotting wood to access insects, which provide valuable protein. To digest such enormous quantities of plant matter, gorillas have long intestines, much longer in proportion than those of humans. This allows them to extract nutrients from tough, fibrous food. Their large bellies are not a sign of excess, they are a biological necessity. A few kilometers downslope, at lower elevations, another primate dominates the forest canopy. Chimpanzees are smaller and lighter than gorillas. Their bodies are built for agility. They move easily through the trees, swinging from branch to branch to reach fruit, growing at the very tips. Young chimpanzees are easy to recognize by their pink faces. From an early age, they begin learning which plants are safe to eat. Their memory is remarkable. They remember the location of fruit trees and the seasons when they ripen. Older chimpanzees may be less acrobatic, but they compensate with strength and experience. A jackfruit tree produces heavy fruit directly on its trunk, sometimes weighing up to 5 kilograms. Powerful canine teeth crack open the thick shell to reach the dense, nutritious flesh inside. Chimpanzees communicate food discoveries to one another. When fruit ripens, others are alerted. They also occasionally hunt small monkeys or steal birds' eggs. Meat is shared according to social rank, reinforcing hierarchy within the group. Despite this, animal protein makes up only about 5% of their diet. Each chimpanzee troop develops its own food culture. Some groups eat plant species that others completely ignore. These preferences are learned socially, passed down from one generation to the next, rather than discovered through trial and error. Chimpanzees travel constantly within their territory. They know every path, every feeding tree. The alpha male regularly patrols the borders, watching for intruders. If rival groups cross into the territory, conflicts can erupt, sometimes violently, with deadly consequences. Food resources are valuable and must be defended. Figs are among the most prized foods. Protecting access to them is critical. This kind of competition for food rarely occurs among grazing herbivores, whose resources are more evenly distributed across the landscape. Back on the savanna, large fruiting trees dot the plains. They are an important food source for olive baboons. Baboons are highly social animals, living in troops of around 30 individuals. While plants form the bulk of their diet, they are far from strict vegetarians. They eat insects, steal eggs, and hunt small animals when the opportunity arises. Females give birth to a single infant each year. At about 8 weeks old, the baby can begin reaching for food without letting go of its mother. Clinging to her belly provides milk, protection, and effortless transportation. Baboons are opportunistic feeders because they are not dependent on a single food source. They can live in a wide range of habitats. This flexibility reduces stress over food availability and has allowed baboons to develop one of the most complex social and hierarchical systems in the animal kingdom. Near rivers and lakes, the savanna changes once again. The land becomes greener. Water attracts herds from every direction. And among them stands the largest land animal on Earth.
Here, a mother baboon cradles her infant while resting in the dense protective bushes.
Closer to rivers and lakes, the savanna becomes lush and green. Water draws animals from far and wide. Herds gather to drink, and among them stands the largest land animal on Earth, the elephant. An adult elephant needs nearly 200 liters of water every day. It also feeds on reeds and brushes growing near the water's edge, plants rich in fiber. Like many herbivores, elephants seek variety. They move from plant to plant, often taking only a few steps between bites. This behavior preserves vegetation, allowing it to recover. Carnivores cannot do this. Once prey is killed, it is gone. When elephants uproot grasses or break branches, they shake them vigorously, removing dust, insects, and dead leaves. Feeding is a precise and learned skill. An elephant's trunk contains more than 10,000 muscles. It is essential for survival. If an elephant loses its trunk, sometimes the result of a lion attack, it can no longer feed. The shape of its head and teeth prevents it from grazing directly from the ground. Young elephants depend entirely on their mother's milk for the first 3 months. Then they begin to imitate adults, learning to pluck grass using a circular motion. They continue to nurse for up to 2 years to obtain fats and calcium needed for growth. Elephants sleep very little. They spend up to 16 hours a day feeding. Eating 150 kilograms of plants takes time, especially when selecting only the most nutritious leaves, often from the highest branches. Other herbivores specialize in feeding where others cannot. Giraffes browse leaves more than 5 meters above the ground. Reducing competition with antelope and other grazers. They select the most nutritious foliage and move constantly from tree to tree. An adult giraffe eats around 30 kilograms of plant material per day. Much of the remaining time is spent resting and ruminating. Rumination is a digestive process unique to certain herbivores. Food is swallowed quickly, then later regurgitated and chewed again. Multiple stomach chambers allow fermentation. Breaking down tough plant fibers and increasing energy yield. This adaptation is common in the Bovidae family, including buffalo, eland, and antelope. By chewing later, when they are less vulnerable. Herbivores can stay alert while feeding. Survival depends on awareness. Herbivores rely on keen senses. Their ears rotate independently to pinpoint sound. Their eyes are positioned on the sides of the head, giving them a wide field of view. Carnivores are built differently. Wild cats have forward-facing eyes, providing depth perception essential for judging distance during a hunt. By living in herds, Animals like Thompson's gazelles increase their chances of spotting danger early. When a predator is detected, they face it directly, maintaining eye contact. The cheetah, now deprived of surprise, abandons the chase. Wasting energy on a failed hunt is too costly. Predators must constantly calculate risk versus reward. This balance is known as optimal foraging. A hunt is worthwhile only if the energy gained exceeds the energy spent. Knowing the abilities of prey is just as important as speed or strength. During the wet seasons, food is abundant. Grass is green and rich in nutrients. Grazers need only bend down to feed. But the dry season changes everything. Grass turns pale and dry, losing nutritional value. Food becomes scarce for species that depend entirely on grazing. Yet herbivores sense change beyond the horizon. Rains are falling elsewhere. And so, the herds begin to move. The Great Migration is one of the most spectacular wildlife events on Earth. Nearly 1.5 million wildebeest and zebras travel hundreds of kilometers across the plains. It is a journey of more than 400 kilometers, and it is deadly. Nearly 10% of the wildebeest will die. Rivers block the way. Crocodiles lie in ambush. Some 4 meters long and weighing half a ton. At the riverbanks, the herds hesitate. Days may pass before one animal finally jumps in. then the rest follow. Risk is shared. Some are dragged under and drowned. Others are crushed or swept away. Predators gather. The carnivores feed not by cruelty, but by necessity, with luck. Most of the herd crosses safely. Another river lies ahead, and more danger follows. A lone lion approaches a carcass guarded by a crocodile. Though lions rarely hunt alone, stealing this meal is worth the risk. Species that live in groups, lions and prides. Hyenas and clans usually share food. But hierarchy always matters. A dominant male may deny others access. Submissive behavior changes nothing. Control of food reinforces rank. When hunger grows severe, lionesses hunt even in daylight. The kill is swift, a grip on the throat. Suffocation within moments. Dragging a 150-kilogram carcass is exhausting. But the reward is enough to feed the entire pride. When the dominant male is full, others are allowed to eat. Fighting breaks out. But family bonds prevent chaos. Social structure holds.
The wildebeest herd scatters in panic as the lioness begins her pursuit, quickly targeting a straggler.
Some predators cooperate beyond family ties. Male cheetahs, often brothers, form coalitions. Together, they can hunt larger prey. They split roles. Distraction, pursuit, capture, speed is their weapon, but success attracts attention. Hyenas watch closely. They know cheetahs cannot defend a kill. Any injury could end their ability to hunt. The hyenas take the carcass. The cheetahs retreat and must rest for hours before trying again. Hyenas feed quickly. Competition is fierce both within the clan and against rivals. But when a lion arrives, the feast ends. Alone, the lion dominates. Not all carnivores rely solely on hunting. Hyenas and jackals also feed on carrion. But as lion populations decline, carrion becomes scarce. Hyenas hunt more. Their numbers increase, and competition intensifies. In some regions, this imbalance threatens other predators. A wounded wildebeest seeks refuge in water. The scent of blood draws hyenas. The outcome is inevitable. Hyenas do not kill first. The balance of nature is harsh, but precise. Herbivores must outnumber carnivores. In many antelope species, females are more numerous. This allows dominant males to form harems and produce many offspring. Mating itself is rarely simple. Females may refuse males, even when fertile. Among lions, dominance does not guarantee access. Courtship is required. In rare cases, the female initiates mating. Among leopards, encounters are brief and aggressive. Repeated mating triggers ovulation. As the sun sets, the savanna quiets, but the struggle continues. Herbivores and carnivores will face each other again tomorrow, and the next day, and for generations to come. This balance, ancient and relentless, sustains life. Yet human pressure is changing everything. Territories shrink. Predator numbers fall. Half of Africa's lions have disappeared in just a few decades. Can the lion still be called the lord of the savannah? The future depends on the young cubs that today seem carefree. Their survival will decide whether this balance endures. On the savannah, survival is not about power alone. It is about adaptation, and without balance, there is no life.